As we place that towel underneath our neck, we want to squish it up as much into the arch or the curve of our neck as possible. So once you get your neck on that roll of the towel, I want you to take the back of your head and draw it towards the back of your shoulders, like you're trying to squish up the towel underneath your neck. And then relax back down, so let your chin come back to a neutral position. Bend your knees so that your feet rest on the floor. And take your feet as close together or as wide as you like. And let your arms relax out with your palms facing up. Let your head rest heavy on the floor. Your shoulders relax down. And any opening across the front of our shoulders that we can find. And once we find this position that's supporting the back of our neck, allow the muscles of our face to relax. Imagining a sense of warmth that moves across our forehead. Allowing that warmth to move around to the temples, around our eyes. Finding the space between our eyebrows. Let it spread out across the bridge of our nose, out across our cheeks, all the way out to our jaw. Imagining that that warmth can move deep into the jaw joint, softening all the muscles around. And feel that warmth move across our jawbone down to our chin. Around our mouth. Feeling up that mask of warmth. And allow it to move across the sides of our neck. The front of our neck. And the back of our neck. From this place, let's use our hands, grab a hold of the rolled up part of our towel, lift our head, roll it up a little bit more if you can, and then let our head come back down. It's okay if your head doesn't touch the floor. I want you to take the base of your head and draw it back towards the upper shoulders again, kind of binding up the towel underneath your neck. And then gently rock our head side to side, massaging the back of our neck. Noticing that our movement continues to improve as we rock side to side, releasing tension through our neck. Maybe begin to move into the full range of motion of our neck, gently squeezing our shoulder and ear towards each other on each end, and then relax. And then coming back to center. We're going to grab a hold of that roll of our towel again and place it at the base of our head so that it's no longer touching the back of our neck, but more the back of our head. And we can allow our chin to relax down. Finding length to the back of our neck. And as we find length, we begin to add a little more pressure to the base of our head. And this is the top of our neck muscles in the back. They attach at the base of our head. So we're just allowing the weight to rest heavy here. Noticing that this is a gentle weight. So for those of you that have worked with therapy balls, this is a lot more intense. So just notice that this is a lot easier, a lot more relaxed. And as we lengthen a little bit more, relaxing a little bit more, and you find that you're at your end range of motion, that you've maxed out the length of the back of your neck, begin to rock your head side to side. And know that this is minimal pressure. We're just encouraging movement, a gentle massage of the back of our neck where it connects to the top or the base of our head. And bringing our head back to center. Begin to lift our chin up, grab a hold of the towel, And then release it from behind our head, letting our head rest down onto the floor. Draw our knees into our chest, give them a hug. Sending length through our low back, allowing our head and neck to stay soft. And then rock side to side, letting our head and shoulders move with the rest of our body. Feeling core engagement as we rock side to side. And then come back to center. We're going to release our feet down to the mat. Roll over to our right side. Then we're going to place our right elbow underneath our shoulder. Our forearm comes directly out in front of us. And then I want you to make sure that shoulder stays over the top of your elbow. And you can take as much length to the side of your body as you like. Walk your elbow away from you to find more length. And then you're going to soften your ribs down towards the floor. And even though we're taking weight to this elbow, arm, shoulder, I want you to soften. So don't feel like you have to completely support it. If this is uncomfortable in your hips, roll your top hip forward. But we're trying to stay through the sides of our waist. And then once you find comfort in this position, we're going to take our top leg and extend it forward. Take our bottom leg and extend it out to the end of our mat. And we're lengthening to the side of our waist, offering a little more of a stretch by allowing our limbs to move away from this area. If you'd like to find a gentle quad stretch, keep your knee in line with your hips so the knee doesn't move, but you're going to bend your knee and let your foot come behind. Keep letting your shoulder relax. If you're feeling cramped up through your shoulder, walk your elbow away a little bit more, but make sure the shoulder stays in line with the elbow. Then extend our bottom leg, reach it out to the base of our mat, bend our top leg, and we're going to bend both knees, draw them in, and we're going to switch sides. Starting with our elbow over the top or underneath our shoulder, let the sides of our ribs soften down towards the floor. You can move the hips away, you can move the elbow away, whatever feels best for you. I'm just taking a moment to pause. Soften into your shoulder a little bit. Keep letting go to the sides of your waist and the sides of your ribs. Adjusting your body any way you need to. If there's too much pressure on your hip, walk your hip down, take your top hip forward. And then from here, we're going to extend our top leg forward, extend the bottom leg towards the end of your mat. And if this is too much, bend the knee. Option to bend your bottom knee, keeping the knee right where it is. Just let your foot move behind you. If this is uncomfortable on your head, let your head relax down to your shoulder. And begin to extend your bottom leg. Bend your top leg. Bring both knees forward so you take some of the pressure off your hip. Right hand comes in front of you, roll forward, and then come up. Find an all fours position, center of our mat. Spreading our fingers wide, finding length through our spine. And then on our next inhale, let's open up our heart. Exhaling, rounding our back. Inhale, open up the front of our body. Exhale, open up the back of our body. Continuing to flow with our breath. Noticing how movement increases through our spine. As we explore the end ranges of motion through our spine. Now coming to a neutral spine, flat back. Joints are still stacked, so if you need to make any adjustments in your limbs, like walking hands forward or knees back to find a little more length, feel free to do that. And then on our next exhale, let's round our back. Let our head hang. Find the center of our back lifting up towards the ceiling. So not the upper part of the back, but not the lower part of the back either. And then we're going to sink our hips back towards our heels halfway and hold. Let our head relax. We're not necessarily pushing our chin towards our throat. We're just letting our head relax into a position that feels good for us. Then bend our elbows, lower our hips back, our elbows down. Keep our belly engaged all the way until our forehead lands on the floor, then relax. Gently squeeze our knees together. Hug our belly in. Lift our body up, nice and slow. Coming back to an all fours position where our spine is lengthened and neutral. We feel our tailbone draw back, the crown of our head draw forward. Our fingers stay spreading wide. And then I want you to close your eyes. Notice where you're feeling rigid within your spine. Can you soften those areas a little bit? Notice if you're feeling rigid in your shoulders and neck. Then on our next exhale, rounding our back, hugging our belly in a lot. Feel not just our spine lift up, but feel the sides of our body hug in underneath us. Feel the inner thighs engage a little bit, as if you were gently squeezing a block between your legs. Sink your hips back halfway. Bend your elbows, lower them down halfway, and hold. This should feel like a lot of work for the front of our body, being mindful that we're not engaging through the collarbone. We're staying soft there. The legs are engaged, the belly's engaged. Heads relax down. And slowly lower down. Keep the belly and the front of your body engaged until you land. Softening here, relaxing. And then engage our legs, gently squeezing them towards each other. Hug our bellies in. Lift our hips, slowly roll up. Lengthening our spine, reaching the crown of our head forward, tailbone back, finding a neutral spine. And one more time, hugging our belly in. Squeeze our legs together. Bend our elbows, sink our hips back halfway, lowering the elbows down halfway. Being mindful of how we're feeling in our body today, we have the option of pressing our hands into the mat and then pulling our hands and knees towards each other. A lot of work for the triceps and the shoulders, so being mindful that that feels okay for you. And then relaxing all the way down, keeping our belly engaged all the way until our forehead lands. Squeeze our legs together, hug our bellies in. Slowly rise up. Finding a neutral spine. Taking the time to arrive in that neutral spine. From our neutral spine, let's extend our left foot back. Press through our heel, toes stay pointed down towards the floor. Release our knee down. Extend our right foot back. Press through our heel. Keeping our hips level, spine neutral. Release our right foot down. Extend our right hand forward, thumb points up, shoulder blade firm on our back. Release our right hand down. Extend our left hand forward. Lowering our left hand down, left foot goes back. Option, right hand forward. Building strength and stability through our spine. Lower down, switch sides, right foot back. Option, left hand forward. Lower down, switch sides, right hand forward, option, left foot back. Lower down, left hand forward, option, right foot back. And lower down. Let's sink our hips back towards our heels. Keep our arms straight and our chest lifted. Walk our hands back until you find comfort within your spine. Keep the natural curve of our low back. Keep our upper back flat. And imagine that you're moving into cow pose while you're in a little bit of a child pose too. And take our right hand, bring it behind our head, keep our shoulders aligned and our elbow reaching back. On our next inhale, let's open up our chest to the right. Exhale, bring it forward. Inhale, open it back up. Exhale, bring it forward. Let all the movement happen in your spine. Shoulder blade stays firm on your back. Neck stays neutral. Shoulder stays neutral. Only thing moving is our back, our belly, and our spine. Let's find one more. And come back to neutral. Release our right hand down. We're going to do the same thing, other side. Left hand behind our head, elbow presses back. So now the shoulder blade is firm on our back. Keeping it that way, open up our chest to the left. Come back to center and open it up. Exhale, center. Inhale, open. Exhale, center. Inhale, open. One more time. Finding mobility through our upper back. Hand comes down. Walk our elbows down to the mat. Lower all the way down to child's pose. From here, you're going to have the option of puppy pose or downward facing dog. You choose. Arms extend forward. Lift our chest. This is puppy pose. Option to walk the knees back a little bit further. Continuing to keep our gaze forward. Or rise up, curling our toes under, downward facing dog. You choose which variation honors you. Taking a moment to feel length through our spine, keeping our arms straight, keeping our hands pressing down into the mat. Breathing. Walk forward, front of our mat, and fold. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees a lot, rise all the way up. Hands come to heart center. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, fold. Left foot steps back halfway. Bend our front knee, press our front knee in, or front foot into the mat, rise all the way up. Check in with your stance. So you want your feet wide enough to honor you for balance. Toes are going to point forward to the front of our mat unless it feels better for your left hip to turn your toes out a little bit. Not very much. Now from here, we're going to grab a hold of our towel or a block, your choice, and we're going to find it as soon as we fold forward. So we're going to move into pyramid pose. Front leg is going to stay as straight as comfortable for you. Hinge forward from your hips. Keep a flat back as long as you can. Recognize where you need to round your back. And then you're going to grab a hold of your towel or your block, and you're going to place it underneath the balls of your right foot. If you want to use your towel and then use blocks for your hands, you can do that as well. But what you want to make sure is that the balls of your foot are on the towel so that your ankle is flexed. So once you find your position, I want you to line up your tailbone to point to the back center of your mat. And this is assuming that you are centered in your mat. Spine should be long and neutral, so we're not reaching our hips off to one side or the other. If you need to bend your front knee a little bit, bend it. Now, depending on what you need in your spine, in the back of your body, you can stay in a neutral position with blocks or round your back and lowering your chest. Hands can come down to a lower level of your block or to the floor. You're lengthening to the back of your right thigh. And if you're rounding your back, you're lengthening to your back. Softening and relaxing into pyramid pose. Bending our front knee. Grab a hold of your blocks if you have them. Place your hands. Blocks come back up to a neutral spine. If you don't have blocks, hands are on your legs. With your front knee bent, press your right foot into the mat to rise up. We're going to step our left foot forward and release our right foot off the fold or roll of our towel. Left foot is going to come onto the roll or fold, and we're going to step our right foot back. And again, it's just a short stance. Your back heel should be able to touch the floor. So if it can't touch the floor, our stance is too wide. And this is the length of our mat. The width of our mat, we want to make sure that our feet are at least hip width distance apart. They can be a little bit wider. Toes are pointing forward towards the front of our mat. And again, unless you're honoring that right hip, you can turn your toes out just a tiny bit. From here, hinge forward from your hips. Your front leg is straight. Keep your back flat as long as you can. You're going to start to immediately feel that through the back of your thigh. Come to a flat back first. So keeping that flat back, we're listening to how we move through our hip, how we move through our leg. And when you run out of room, you can't move any further, you still have the curve of your low back. You still reach your heart forward. Then that's your end range of motion through your hip. That's the end of your hamstring, and that's okay. Recognizing where that is the most important part of this. You can stay here, focusing on the hamstring and the glute, or if you want to add the back into the same stretch, round. Explore your blocks. Keep your weight balanced between your feet. Very slowly begin to bend our left knee. Come back up on the block. Finding a flat back. keeping our heart reaching forward. Front knee is bent. We're going to push our left foot into the mat. Our hands up our legs, all the way up. From here, step our right foot forward. And I want you to place both feet on the roll of your towel, roll of your mat, wherever you're on today. And then on our next inhale, let's sweep our hands up. Forward from our hips and knees. Rise all the way up. And come to heart center. Releasing our feet off our towel, rolled up mat. Let's inhale, back up. And exhale, fold. Rise all the way up. And come to heart center. Releasing our hands down to our sides. So we have to move our mat. Step forward. And on our next inhale, sweep our hands up again. Exhale, fold. Bend our knees, lower them down to the mat one at a time. Spread our fingers wide. Inhale, open up the front of our heart. Exhaling, rounding our back. Hold in this rounded position. Shift our ribs over to the right. Right hip pull back and your right shoulder pull forward. Open up the heart again, moving into cow pose. Then reach our ribs to the left. Trying to create as much space. And then rounding our back. And then spine to neutral. We're going to crawl forward to the front of our mat. Grab a seat. And then I want you to grab a hold of your strap if you have one. If you don't have a strap, then you're using your towel for the same purpose as you would your strap. And we're going to come to a lying down position on our back. Center of the strap or towel comes to the bottom of our right foot. And then we're going to lower down. Extend our right leg up to a place that it can be straight. So some of us are going to find our foot forward a lot. Some can reach all the way up. The point is your legs should be straight. We're not bending our knee. Find whatever it is for you. Then once you're there, wrap the strap around your hand and then bring your elbow down to the floor if your strap or towel allow you to do so. Now I want you to create tension on your strap. With this tension, like you're trying to pull your foot towards your body, I want you to push your foot back into the strap or towel, whatever you're using. You're going to feel the back of your right thigh working. Now tip your pelvis forward a little bit. Feel your tailbone press down towards the floor. Find a little more length through your left leg. Keep that tension of foot into strap, strap into foot. And relax. Draw your right leg forward. Lift your left leg and place your left foot in the strap. Right foot comes down and extends forward. Taking a moment to hold here. Just recognizing where you are. This side might be different. That's okay. And once you find your end range of motion, push your foot into the strap, pull back with your hands. Tip your pelvis forward. Push your tailbone down. Lengthen through your right leg. Keep the full length of the back of your thigh while you work it. And relax. Release your left foot down. Release your strap or towel from your foot. Place it off to the side. You're going to release your left foot down to the mat, followed by your right. Knees come wide. Soles of your feet come together. Arms come out. Palms facing up. Close your eyes as you take a moment to soften. As we pause and relax into this position, you can recognize that sometimes the hardest part about healing or working with injuries or just being in our body is learning to slow down, learning to accept where we are, honoring that place so that we can move forward from it. One of the tools that I use for honoring where I am in my body is by observing. Observing as if you were watching somebody else, watching something else move, and giving them the space to be able to move and recognize where they are. When we separate our mind from our body for a brief moment and allow our bodies to be where they want to be, we can give ourselves that permission to be in this space. And you'll find that with that simple thought process, our body lets go. Slowly lift our knees up. Bring our knees together to touch, walk our feet wide. And here we're moving to internal and external rotation of our hips. You can lift the outer feet if you like and roll to the inside. Just keep your ankles straight, don't roll the ankles. And lifting our knees up, we're going to lower both knees over to the right. So we're keeping them wide while we lower our left knee into the midline of our body and our left hip lifts up off the mat. And though our right knee is doing the same thing, the focus here is our left side of our body. You should be feeling it through the waist, through the hip, through the thigh, all the way down from the knee to your hip. Shoulders stay relaxed down. Head stays neutral. Neck is relaxed. Lifting our knees up, take them over to the left. Feet stay wide. Right hip lifts up off the mat. Both shoulders stay down. Head and neck stay relaxed. You may be feeling this to the inside of your hips as well as the outside and your waist. And lifting our knees up. Keep your feet wide. We're going to move into Shavasana with wide legs. So extending our legs forward. If you'd like to put towels underneath your knees or blocks underneath your knees, you can do that as well. And then let your palms stay facing up to the ceiling wherever they are. Let your head relax. Let your neck and shoulders soften. Closing your eyes. Allow your body to be supported by the floor, by the space that you've created, by showing up with this opportunity of being present within our body. Drawing our awareness back to our body. Invite movement into our hands and our feet. Roll out our wrists and our ankles. Bending our knees, roll over to our right side. Keeping our eyes closed, press ourselves up. As we rise up tall to our spine, align all of our joints. Our ribs over our hips, our shoulders over our ribs. Feel the natural curve of our neck. Feel the alignment of our head. Notice how you feel in this moment. Bringing our hands together in front of our heart, feeling in all that we found in this practice. Place it as a gift in our heart, this opportunity of recognizing self, letting go, and more importantly, creating the space to meet ourselves where we're at. Namaste.